it back and make any changes that you guys have from Molly.
I think it might be worth asking her to, look at it in a week.
Right.
When is the next election board meeting?
2 weeks from
First
tomorrow.
Thursday of,
And then keep in mind that then they, which you all were saying before, that then they would set a future date for public discussion and presentation, right? If they,
Right.
so
the 6th
just simply
of
get it.
February.
I would like to make a suggestion then too, because I looked at the calendar. We had planned our next meeting February 12th and then our last meeting February 19th. I don't see any reason, because we have an extra week in January, that we don't move our meeting up to February 5th.
I
Which is 2 weeks from
agree.
today. And then we have 2 weeks from that for our final meeting, instead of 3 weeks and then 1 week. So, I mean, like at the end of the meeting, I was going to move to change our February 12th meeting to February 5th anyway. But if the election board meeting is on the 6th, then it's ideal opportunity for us to get our feedback from Molly, we can maybe make a final vote on February 5th. And be done.
Right.
But one logistical issue with that is that you still need time for I would want the election board to review the findings before their meeting.
Okay, well, either way, so they'll have it, but I mean, we can finish our work
We can
officially.
also- I still agree with your thought process. I just want to.
Right, so in other words, February 5th, we approve the document. We've done as much as we can think of. It goes to the election board February 6th. They either approve it and then start the 30-day process, or they send it back to us. We have one last meeting to deal with. So the February 19th meeting, we can schedule, and if the election board sends it back to us, we'll have the meeting. And if they approve it, then we can cancel the February 19th meeting.
Yeah, we could try it, see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit pessimistic. Molly, in my experience, is a very comment-rich person. And so I would think that she would give us a lot of comment, and it would not be just small, unsubstantial changes. So I would think that I'm kind of pessimistic that we would have it together and pass the Molly bar by that next meeting. That's my concern.
I do think we would need more specific comments from her, though, if she says it doesn't comply with the plan.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all to the point, okay, what specifically do we need to do for compliance?
So we've addressed all the
Right.
issues. We've addressed every question. It's a much more thorough document than it was when she first saw it.
Right.
I think, and I don't know her, but I suspect that she's going to find it much more substantially in compliance, even if it's not completely in compliance.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm hoping that the only thing she says is you don't have the drawings in there or
Right.
so many words.
Right.
Because the one thing that is happening in the March meeting, before the March meeting, both parties are going to have brand new chairs
Before the March meeting or before the April meeting?
before the March. March 1st is reorganization for both parties.
I thought it was in April. All right.
So
Well, all the more reason why,
I think the February one would be good to get some guidance on.
Yeah, just get it done.
Saying hot potato, here's the new chair, and the chair saying, hold on, I want to. Right.
I mean, is it unreasonable to ask Molly to review it the next week so that we would have time to get it?
Right.
She generally asks for 2 weeks. So like all of our contracts that they send to her, we have to give her at least 2 weeks to review it. Sometimes she gets back sooner.
I do want to share too that this is a continuation of what we submitted to her
Yeah.
before in December. And so
So maybe it would not be.
we should ask respectfully
Right,
and
yeah.
respect what she
Yeah.
says.
Where
but
she can say
it's
it's no.
out of the question.
Yeah.
Because of-
and for what it's worth, most of the work I had to do for this document has been done, like the all-nighter I had to pull to get it clean. It's been pulled. So because it's cleaned up, it won't be hard for me to install changes. This will be take long. So
Trying to put it together as much as
it was great. No, this is what I
I
needed.
was like, I was tired of looking at those pages.
I mean, at this juncture, even a thing like the cost that both the election board and we've asked for, that doesn't need to be, not the vote center cost, but I'm talking about what she got there. That could be in attendance. That's not a compliance
Right.
issue. So kind of getting like letter of the law.
Right. Right. And the compliance document is an appendix at the moment.
Right.
I don't think it has to be an integral part of the document. It just sort of proves the document is in compliance. Although here's a question for you all. I do think there is content in the compliance document that isn't in the plan.
Oh, yeah. Well, because some of it is reviewing stuff that the county knows about itself, but the state doesn't know about the county.
Yep.
So does it need to be in the vote center plan proper?
I will say a vote center plan that I just received from another county does have it at the very beginning of theirs. And it is actually in their plan. It's the
What
very
particular
beginning.
information?
The compliance checklist or?
Yeah, the compliance checklist was their information. Yeah,
But ours is,
ours is in.
it's a, we're submitting a report, right,
It's in the,
No.
that's a good question.
to
So
the election board.
in late 2024, what we had created was a report.
Yeah.
And what Molly said is that we're supposed to be providing a plan. We were asked to make an actual plan.
But she's, with the other thing she also said is she's going on what other counties have put forward as their vote center plan. And a lot of the vote center plans that have been put forward in the past have the compliance checklist first.
Yep.
Which is probably the feedback she's going to give us is.
Tell you what, I'll move it and I'll call it a preface.
No, yeah, all right, yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying
I
in
do
terms of making it good, in terms of it, but like Molly is one of those personalities where that's gonna be like her first one.
Well, and I was one of the people who gave the input differently. It's okay. As long as there's just some beginning preface or explanation of this, what this is. This is the proposed checklist to.
I'm kind of with Steve. I think it's great
State.
as in the appendix, but it's not a hill I'm worth to die on.
Yeah.
We don't want to have this go back and forth over something that is really, I don't think any of us are that passionate about where it is.
Yeah.
No,
So let's just,
yeah,
All right, fine. That was my idea. I'll
all right,
do all that.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought it was in a better spot, but then looking at like other plans that have been sent to me here recently, I'm like, okay, why is this at the very beginning? But then I'm like, okay, maybe we just put it at the beginning and call it good. I've gotten, I think, 2 or 3 plans from other counties that they've sent it to me here recently, and they're like, this is what we're working on just for reference. And then all of them have that checklist right at the beginning.
But I think they just did it because they're all copying each other like.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No,
and their attorneys probably said, well, you need to say,
yep.
it's,
I'm just like, okay, you know what, hands off, do it that way.
I think we don't forget about it, it's Chinatown.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay, so I think that sounds great. So I guess, forget if I can make this motion as the chair, but like, I guess I'll make a motion to approve this document with the change that of moving the compliance checklist to the beginning of it. But other,
Preface.
to a preface,
Preface.
as a preface. So I'm gonna make the motion to, okay, let me put this all so that we can get the, I'm gonna make a motion to approve this item, this document with the change of moving the compliance checklist to the beginning as a preface to be sent to the county attorney for review for our next meeting.
Second.
second, oh,
You can have it.
I'll take the second.
There you have it. And then, all right, so there's motion on the floor. I guess we'll have discussion. Any other things?
So I'm scheduling meetings for the 5th and the 19th.
The 5th and the 19th. I was gonna do that part next.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, we're making that motion too, or that's,
No, she was asking a question.
Yeah, she was asking as a question, but I was gonna do that next.
okay, good.
Talk about that. Okay. I guess we can do this by voice vote. About that?
No, you have to have. All because of also.
Roll call, right, thank you. All right, we'll start with William again.
Yes,
Yeah, so it's virtually.
Okay, but we're just approving this item.
to send to Molly.
Yes.
And be clear, that's just to send to Molly at this juncture, because we know there's more component,
Yes,
there's another component that
Right,
needs to.
because we're gonna need to approve one more time
Right.
after Molly gets back to us.
And the diagrams are pretty much, once that's done, here you go. I mean, it's not like a bunch of write-up needs to be done on that.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I know it. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Cool, all right. We will send this, and then the next motion I'd like to make is to move our next meeting from February
well,
12th to February 5th.
second.
And you think you probably get this room, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just got scheduled.
Yeah, just got to sketch it.
That is the second of the motion, not February second.
That's correct. Got on that day.
And it sounds like people, let me just double check.
I'll be in Indianapolis on the 5th, so I'm gonna try to find a space when I'm up there that I can join in on the meeting. I think I should be able to.
Oh, is that the AIM conference, Noel?
Yeah, that's that legislative dinner. I have an appointment before that, so I was gonna be up there a little bit before. But I don't think that the dinner starts till 6. I don't know.
So I can at least join on Teams.
It shouldn't be a long meeting.
Okay.
Be able to make quorum in person.
Stacy B.
How many people do we need for quorum?
6.
You don't, I don't know. I don't know. It's,
Well,
Stacy just was.
I mean, if it's just you guys, then William, I could still make quorum because there's 7 today. I know it'll be virtual on the, oh, yeah. So
For most, virtual, it'll be virtual.
Yes.
right now, it looks like
That's 3 virtual now. We won't have quorum unless Stacy's here.
Like Stacy, didn't I have like Stacy's number or
But
something?
I really don't think the meeting's gonna be long. I mean,
I don't.
No, I mean, it's, if the dinner starts at 6, I can, I mean, it's not like these dinners, you have to be there like right at 6 on the
Yeah.
dot, so we can. I- See, I'm thinking if we can maybe do 4:30, that offers a lot more.
On the
Yeah.
5th,
Yeah.
I can do that.
I can do that.
Well, you're still gonna be virtual at 4:30,
Yeah,
right?
because I scheduled an appointment knowing I had to be up there at 6. So I scheduled a doctor's appointment at 3:30, which will run about an hour and a half because I got to do some tests.
Okay,
Well, at least we'll make quorum then, right?
yes.
yeah. But I mean, so maybe we should talk, well, we have to finish the motion, but we should talk about the motion.
Yeah.
So it's February 5th. We're hoping that Molly will have gotten done before February 5th. If she gets done ideally she gets done before February 3rd. That way I can turn around changes and have it 48 hours in advance of the meeting. So we're really hoping that she'll get it done in a week instead of 2, so that way I have some time to make the changes. But
Yeah.
I stand ready to make the changes so that we can send this to the election board the next day.
I appreciate your commitment to that. And, but yeah, so I think, I mean, what I'm getting for this is, so I was planning on sending it to Molly on the committee, but so our ideal thing, I was gonna put it in the email. It sounds like our ideal turnaround would be a week so that we can get feedback to make the February meeting, but that would
I could sell for us first thing Monday morning, February 3rd,
But yeah, first thing, February 3rd.
and then I could give it to Kylie for 48 hours notice for the rest of you.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with this if on the email where we send out the notice or we send an email confirming who can be there.
Yeah, that's what we do
Yeah.
on the parking commission.
Right.
I think we'd say who's going to be present.
Animal control is the same reasons.
Right. Oh, for the February 5th.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So yeah, the motion, so I'm gonna amend the motion from 5 to 4:30. And then on the 5th, and the idea that then we would meet 2 days later
On the 19th.
on the 19th. All right, I guess we'll do that via voice vote as well, starting with William.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay, so we'll plan to meet then on that. And so at this point, we're considering this document frozen. If you can send me a version of that compliance checklist at the beginning
Mhm.
and then hold off the
well, I'm going to include this.
that until we get feedback from,
Yeah,
which I think will, yeah. So we'll see what feedback. we get from her.
I mean, I can probably turn that around tonight. I want to get this in, just, be done. So I'm forwarding it to you and you're forwarding it to Molly.
Yes, I was gonna send it to Molly. That works.
That's great with me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then hopefully she would send it back, and then I'd send it back to the committee. I'll probably CC the committee just for.
I think that was one of those things where it should be a small group.
Oh, so I'll just send it directly and I won't CC the committee.
All I'm saying is when I previously worked on it with Molly in one of the prior versions, it was advised to work on it with her and a small group. So then at the time it was Ralph and I working more on it. It's obviously evolved since then. So,
I think she's really concerned that we have too many people. Well, on the communication, but also if it becomes a meeting of the committee, if we have too many of us.
right. And now that especially we're so aligned on the draft, very developed draft content, I would suggest based on her input she had given us before, Molly had given us before, to keep it small group on the.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll send it directly in CC Kylie. How about that?
Yeah,
Is there anything we can do to help with the voting?
not necessarily because I'm having to work with Bob while he's in Florida to find out how they set up each location. And it's been just like a work in progress of he'll tell me, okay, this is these 3 locations, this is how we set it up, and then I'm translating it. And then right now we're working about 4 a day is what we've been doing. He helped me finish the one for early voting because that one was a lot more than what I was expecting it to be. But we're.
I don't know if you need me to go to Florida sometime.
I sent him a message earlier and I was like, hey, so can I just come to your house and film this? I feel like that would be better.
Yeah, perfect. Good. Yeah, if there's anything we can do to help in that. Okay, but in terms of procedurally, what's happening next is Molly is gonna give the feedback back to me directly. And then what I'd probably do is, I mean, I might go back and forth with Steve, just if it's small structural changes to the document.
Or here or there, I mean.
Yeah, I think everyone would be comfortable with us making those changes and then bring
We
it
also
back.
have red line copies of everything, so if I want earlier drafts, I've got those.
Yeah, so maybe me and Steve as a subcommittee can work on any additional
No, we
editorial
can't find
changes.
those.
Oh, no, we're not a subcommittee, we're not. Yeah.
Individual members just associating freely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And then hopefully before our next meeting, sending out a copy for us to approve. Now, it would be great if you guys could get the things, but even then, I think well, actually, we still need that before we can move forward.
Yep.
So do you think that you guys could get it done in the next 2 weeks in terms of it? Hopefully, okay.
Yes.
All
The
right.
way that we're working, I would say we would. Just because we're, like, I'm not super busy right now, but we have voter maintenance that we're working on top of a few other things. So it's not.
Okay. So maybe with the hope of, just kind of say, the hope of that we would have it prepared and ready to give to the election board at their February meeting.
Yep.
For whatever, and then making clear that they, at that point, probably their options would be to accept it with changes, or whatever those options are, or send it back.
Theirs at that point.
I think it's theirs
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
think that when our term expires, we serve until the completion of our work unless otherwise extended by the election board by a majority vote. So that completion of our work is preparing the plan.
So if they accept or reject it, we're done, unless they say we want some changes and sending it back to you.
Yeah, because that is a question. I did see Molly, and Molly did ask me if our committee had been extended by the election board. And I was pretty sure that the language was, we exist for as long as we exist.
Right.
Yeah, fair. All
And we
right.
were
That's your
formed-
understanding as well. All right.
In
Yeah.
August of 23 and didn't start meeting until then.
Shared.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's- Yeah.
As much as I like you all, I think we're ready to be done.
All right, that sounds good. So possibly, yeah, if we do approve it at that next meeting, our work is theoretically done at that point, and we
Yeah.
can consider the committee disbanded.
Yeah.
Unless we hear otherwise.
Yeah, like, we're hoping that on the 6th, they will approve the document and open it up to the 30-day inspection. And that's when we know we're done.
If we don't get the document back, we're not able to
send them the documents Wednesday, are they going to be able to view it on Thursday? Because I thought that was part of the question too.
I don't know if they will necessarily go
Special
on
meeting.
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
They should, that's their prerogative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they give, our committee gives them updates every election board meeting, so if the update is more than we're still working on the same questions you asked us last month, it would be nice to say we're done, even if you need. Yeah, it'd be good that we are trying to have more submitted, great, but
Yeah, I don't know if they will necessarily vote on it at the February meeting. They might ask for like a special meeting. But I mean, that's up to them once they receive it.
Do you think it would be a good idea for us to send them the draft now before Molly's had a chance to vet it? That at least they're familiar with it, because otherwise they're gonna have had 24 hours to read.
I would think so. I really would.
Well,
We just approved this document.
we did just approve this document and we have, I just would say practically, we have sent them copies of it before.
Okay,
They said they wanted to be involved.
and they
Yes.
wanted
Yeah.
answers to their questions. They had some specific questions that are now better addressed. Yes, so it's also thinking of it as answering their questions that they had asked.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, I'm happy like to send this, once we have the updated version, when I do send it to Molly, to also send it to the election board and see like, this is under approval now with Molly, here's where we're at. Cause well, we'll see if it changes substantially.
what time is the election morning?
1:30. They now start at 1:30. We had to push it back half an hour. Because of commissioner meeting.
Anyway, but yeah, so I would be fine with sending them a copy of it, so that they can start reviewing it. But with the idea that they know that it's
Yeah.
not finished.
Just as long as they know that it's not fully completed and that it's being reviewed by Molly all the time. That a way that they know at least what they're looking at.
I can put a cover sheet on it that says, this is a draft, this is the timeline, whatever we just said,
Yeah.
to make it clear, and then forward it to you.
That seems
I
fine.
can turn it around tonight, but that's not hard. Yeah, I can make these changes too.
Oh, you're talking about like a watermark or something?
Just a cover sheet that just says, this is a draft of the report, the final report we expect to approve on February 5th, pending approval from Attorney King. And this is for your, because, well, that's the thing. If we approve this 5 o'clock on Wednesday, so we get to them 1:30 on Thursday, it's less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, Thursday's their meeting.
Yeah.
right, the next day.
Right, so yeah, it would.
So I mean, since we're substantially done, we should give them a chance to be reviewing it. That, what we're approving on the 5th is technical changes.
Yeah, possibly.
But theoretically, we'd still be able to vote on it, to talk about it.
Right,
in their
right.
meeting.
I think that just the sooner we give them something, the less anyone can say, oh, this wasn't what.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to make that meeting. I would like to be there just in case they answer technical questions about the document.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I would be at that meeting. I know Ellie's often there, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, and I think that one, I had talked to Ralph a bit about Ralph representing us. That's the February 6th we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we're talking about
I'll
all
be
these things.
traveling. So that's my thinking.
There. Yes.
Well, yeah, there's women voters, so I'm not supposed to speak, so. Switch to a different hat.
Yeah, and I'll try also to make it, I have a private conflict, but I can see it. Maybe I can join on Zoom. That sounds good. Trying to think of anything else that would need to be done. Maybe see this. Yes, I guess we'll just take, in terms of those various different things, we'll have to take if the election board has additional feedback at that point, and then just decide where we're at. how it goes. I'm thinking more along the lines of there was a spirited discussion last time about the 22 versus 29 conversation.
Yeah.
And I could see them like strongly suggesting something one way or the other, and we would have to figure out how we want to deal with that.
Or else they could figure it out. I mean, it's their report.
It's their report. I mean, our job is just,
26, they can.
Right, they demand the report after we give it to them,
right, yeah,
so they'll.
Adopt the report by striking through any line.
Correct.
right, yeah,
I don't think they can do that.
yeah. I'm just trying to figure out.
They can put the checklist in the back again.
Okay, well, anyway, I think that's
See that after.
see that group. And that's getting, and then Molly moving it.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna be there like, guys, come on.
Okay, that sounds good. I think that's all we had to discuss in terms of this.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second, you got that.
We are adjourned.
I'll take that one. Thank you.